Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of History Before Us, and I am in Chester, Virginia, in the community of Bermuda Hundred, and it's rural Chester, not too far from Richmond, and it has a very, very storied history. I want to show you all some of what's around. There's some industry that's up that way. There's some agriculture that's this way, and down that road, we're going to be going to the river, which will explain why we're here at First Baptist Church, Bermuda Hundred, with Reverend Towns. How are you doing, brother?
I'm doing well, brother. Hope you are.
I'm doing good, man.
Good.
Happy belated Juneteenth. We're a couple days out of it.
That's all right. It's still good. Good.
But Alexandria connected me with you, and I follow her on social media, and she just does great work with exploring various different historical sites, and she's out there doing some stuff right now, y'all documenting. She'll maybe jump on the camera, hopefully a little bit later.
Yeah.
But we're here at First Baptist Church, Bermuda Hundred. Mm-hmm. You were raised in this community?
No, I was not.
You weren't
I was raised
in
on the other side of the county.
Okay, but you're connected to this community.
I am connected. All of us African Americans of our generation, we all connected because we all went to one high school in the county from 1948 until 1969.
Okay.
Carver High School. So my classmates lived in this area, and I like I said, I lived on the far part of the county, and it took me about over an hour to get to school on the school bus.
For sure. So. And often in this area, you hear about Petersburg a lot, and you also hear about Richmond a lot.
Okay.
In this specific area. But Chester obviously has a lot of history.
Sure.
And I think that, because I've never heard of this history before, and like I mentioned to you, whenever I come out to places, I like to go and learn just as the viewers are learning, right? And I appreciate you for allowing me the opportunity and taking some time out of your day.
No problem.
You brought a hat. You were smart enough to do that.
Problem.
I wasn't.
I have a cap if you want one.
I'm gonna thug it out.
Okay.
But man, I'm excited to learn about this this community. Please, First Baptist, right here in Bermuda Hundreds. Please give us the history of this place.
As much as I can, the history of this place. We're starting right here by this market.
Yes.
This historical market that we applied for applied to the Department of Historical Resources with the state of Virginia. This historical market to mark this place where our ancestors were sold here after they got off the ships down at the river. This site is described as at the location of the central market for Bermuda Hundred, which was the site of the slave auctions that took place, enslaved people, as they call it, slave auctions. This church has been here from the 17th century. History is that it started off as a parish back in the 17th century, and it's gone through some iterations since that time. Even as a parish, it's really worth noting that this church was here at the same time. It appears that the slave market was here. So when you juxtaposition the religion against the slave trade, I think that's something that needs to be acknowledged and something that needs to be discussed. The role of religion in the slave trading, or the lack of a role. Anyhow, this church has been here since then. It was established, as the marker says, in 1866 officially. Became formally organized in 1866 as the First Baptist Church Bermuda Hundred. This is not what the original church looked like, obviously. The original church was a wooden church, but they have modified it and done some things to it to modernize it. And when they tell the history of this church, all of those modifications outline. It's still an active church. Okay. They meet, I think, 2 or 3 Sundays a month. It has a very small congregation. Most of those who attend live in this area. These are some of the original families from this area, remaining from the early centuries. But the church is still active.
Now the name Bermuda Hundred, you just told me off camera, but now you got to say it again on camera if you don't mind, brother.
Yeah, well, the name Bermuda Hundred, there were some ships that were headed to the Americas, to the United States. It wasn't the United States yet, and the ships got shipwrecked on the way, and they wound up in Bermuda. My understanding, as I can recall, best of my memory, is that they took those 2 or 3 ships and made one ship, and when they came here, they landed here. They took that name Bermuda because they came from Bermuda and came here. Now the hundreds come from the early settling when land was allocated, by the King of England. If you were a settler and you sponsored someone to come to the new country, you received 100 acres of land. And if I recall correctly, they started off maybe with 50 acres. And they didn't get enough people, so they raised it to 100 acres. Mm-hmm. So you can see how the early settlers were able to gain wealth by having land. Another piece I want to note right now is that in my research of doing the history of the slave ships that arrived here in Bermuda Hundred, when we talk about early settlers, the muster rolls for some of these slave ships show that the number of crew members that left England on those enslaved ships,
sure,
and the ones that landed in Virginia, some of those crew members stayed in Virginia. Some of them mustered out in Virginia. So that says to me that some of the early settlers of Virginia were slave ship crew members.
Yeah.
And that speaks to a lot.
For sure.
It's not, I think a lot of people have this notion that the early settlers were upright people and all primpums, and they were escaping religious persecution and all that. No, that's not who founded this country.
Yeah.
But I think that's an interesting note. If I were to engage further past this point now, I may investigate some of those surnames who offer those ships who were mustered, who probably gave us names for this area.
For sure. And your last name is Townes.
Townes, Townes.
Yes. And so how is your surname connected to this site?
I know my surname comes from the United Kingdom and Scotland. It's connected to this site in that we're here because some time ago, I began a search to find out how my paternal great-grandfather got to Amelia, Virginia.
Okay.
I wanted to know, I knew something about slavery and that type of thing, but when I started doing my own genealogy, I wanted to know how my maternal great-grandfather got to Amelia County. And when I started doing research, I found online, I found one ship, it's the Yanni Maru.
Okay.
That ship had an ad for enslaved people being sold in Bermuda Hundred, Virginia. That was the first ad I saw.
Right here.
Right here. And I'm thinking in my head, before I saw that, I said, I think I've heard that enslaved people were sold in Petersburg. I'm thinking I'm going to find something maybe from Petersburg or Richmond, but that ad led to, everything exploded. And when I saw that ad and I started seeing ads in Virginia Gazette for other slave ships that were selling our ancestors here in Bermuda Hundred. The fact is, in a nutshell, the research that I found, the one I used for a resource, some 71 slave ships came to Bermuda Hundred from Africa. The other point is they came directly from Africa. We know our history as the 12 million enslaved people who came. Most of it, only 5% came directly from Africa. But those ships that came here came directly from Africa. Obviously from the West Coast, and the majority of them were from Nigeria, which was called Calabar or Old Calabar. So those ships, those 71 ships landed here, and some 18,000 to 20,000 of our ancestors were bought off those ships and sold in this spot.
Right here at this spot.
So the town's name brought me here.
And if people looked around, they wouldn't necessarily think that this would be a location, but we have a river that's right down the street that we're going to walk to here in a second. So with that being said, what was happening right here at this specific spot? Like, was it merchants? Were there more buildings around? Was it just an open field? Was there a plantation site that was here?
At this particular spot, I don't know that there was a plantation here, but history says there were several plantations in Bermuda Hundred. There is an archaeological drawing of this area with street grids.
Okay.
This is the main way in and out, obviously out of Bermuda Hundred. So this street is shown on those archaeological drawings. Mm-hmm. Also, street grids laid out in a grid pattern down here. So when we get down to the river, there was a street called Water Street, which ran parallel to the river. So there were plantations around here. There were plantations over this way along the James River. That's another object of research that I haven't found out the names of all of them. But obviously, and there's a house here called the Bishop Johnson House that we'll see when we go to the river.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so it says you all that this became one of Virginia's largest slave auction sites.
Yes.
Right here where we're standing.
Right.
Including many children who were marched to the tobacco plantations
Yes.
in the interiors, where of course enslavers profited from their labor.
Yeah.
Was this history hidden for a while before the historical marker and before you and other people started doing more research on it?
It wasn't hidden, it was there. There was a lot of scholarship was done. A lot of doctoral work was done by students. Historians had noted, but they, as I said, most of my presentations, they would mention the fact that there were slaves here.
Right.
They never talked about how they were bought here. They never talked about how they were not only bought here, but slave traders came here to purchase our enslaved ancestors and take them west to what's called the Piedmont area of Virginia. The Piedmont,
what would be some of those towns or counties and cities?
Charlottesville,
Okay.
Roanoke,
And then more in the
Lynchburg.
mountainous areas.
Yeah, Piedmont, foot of the mountain.
Yeah.
Anywhere from the mountains this way. So, you know, that's one of the facts is that the 1860 slave census, U.S. slave census, which shows the slave population of all the states in the United States. Nottoway County was one of the counties had the highest percentage of slaves, which was like, I think 76% of the entire population.
Wow.
Amelia County, where my great-grandfather's from, was 72%.
Man.
Chesterfield at that time, I'm doing this by memory, so these figures may be a little off.
Right.
Chesterfield, I think,
grant him a little grace if he's off by a couple.
Right. But I think Chesterfield on that census was like 45%.
Okay.
But those counties in particular, Nottoway and Amelia had a higher percentage of black people in their population than white people.
Yeah.
It causes you to think back to Reconstruction.
Yeah.
You know, when we were so. We had a good percentage of the population, so what happened? I mean, we know
and
that
in
story.
power in some places.
And we were in power.
Yeah.
But we know what happened.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
We definitely do. Anything else about this site? Like, do we know exactly where the auctions were, or was it just in this land mass in general?
We cannot know for certain exactly where it was. Some say it's probably since the church is here, it's probably in the adjoining land. If you look through the grass, you can see which is a pergola.
Yeah, I see that.
One of our late president of our African American History Committee. I want to mention her name and honor her. Her name was Brenda Friend Briggs.
Okay.
She purchased that land. That land belonged to her. She bought it. She bought this land, so she knew something about this area. And this was back in, I guess, the 1970s maybe. She purchased that land because they had a Bermuda Hundred Day, which had nothing to do with slavery, but just for this area. So she purchased that land, and I'm told she had plans to put a simulated slave auction block here. So she knew something.
Oh wow, yeah.
So I felt that I had to honor her in this whole piece.
Yeah.
Because she had that vision. So we feel her spirit.
For sure.
Moving throughout this process.
So when you started doing this research and to be able to come to the land and the site and where your ancestors were here, whether it was for a day, 2 days, however, we know that they were here, right? And you're here, right? When you first started diving into this, how did that spiritual connection occur? And what were those moments that you would have whenever you would dip away and be thinking about it?
It was awesome. When I have a friend, Bernard Anderson. I'm gonna call some names because these people are very meaningful to me. He's a real true historian. My friend, my brother by another mother. He brought me down here when he saw how impassioned I was about this.
Sure.
He brought me down to the river, and you'll see that part of the river is on private property there, and the lady let us get to a site. So and there's an opening there in the river that we went to. And when I went to that opening in the river, there were remnants of pilings still in the river, you know, and I stood there and I had a moment because I had been to Ghana.
Yeah.
And I had been through the door of no return. So here I am standing on this side of the water where my ancestors probably got off the ship.
Yeah.
So that was a circular moment for me. Very, very, very meaningful thing for me.
For sure.
And it still is. To me, this is very sacred because I can make the connection. And many can make the connection who understand. One of the things during our during our ceremony, Reverend Ben Camel was one of our presenters. He's past the emergence of an ecumenical retreat called Richmond Hill.
Okay.
And when I called him after the service to thank him for his attendance and for his contribution, he shared with me, he said, I have been to many occasions similar to this. He said, but I never felt what I felt there by being able to be at the river where the people walked.
Yeah.
You know, so the very profound thing he shared was, he said, I could look out at the water and know that I'm looking to Africa.
Yeah.
So that was a powerful moment. So as these spiritual moments come, and so that's what really adds meaning to all this. That our ancestors are proud and finally saying that, you know, that they might be pleased with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like at one point in time it was somewhat taboo for Black folks to tie in spirituality with ancestors.
Sure.
Right? Like, let's just
sure.
keep it a buck. It just, you know, you would be chastised for it.
Yes.
I remember one person, I did a post and I had mentioned thanking the Creator, thanking God and my ancestors for covering me and something like that.
Sure.
And I had a person who said, the only person that can cover you is God.
Sure.
And she was like, I'm unfollowing you. And that's no biggie for me. I mean,
Sure.
The internet's not a real place.
Yeah.
But I was like, I think enough of the people who God blessed to be here before me to recognize that everyone has had a hand in protection and guidance and things like that. And so for you being a reverend and being able to outwardly say that I have a spiritual connection with the dead, right? Ancestors. How has that transition been for you, or have you always been the person who has that type of ideology?
I have not always had that. And the more I've grown, the more I've been involved with this, I just feel the ancestral spirit, and the more I found out about myself, about our people, about us. Yeah. I realized that there's something in us, as I have been saying lately to people, trying to let them know. I said, the truth has been beat out of us or lied out of us. Sure. We don't know who we are. I believe in a holistic person. You know, I mean, I understand. Yeah, I am a minister, but I also understand, have some understanding of the concept of African spirituality. That there's something in us that makes us the people who we are, and that has been taken from us. Sure. So I have no problem embracing that. I have no problem embracing the part in me that people try to deny or lie about. You know, as the great philosopher Dick Gregory said, I don't need your ignorance to validate my truth. So you can't keep lying to me, to telling me who I am. I need to find out who I am for myself.
Yeah,
you know?
This is very much so true, man.
Yeah.
So we did a great bit of communicating here about this site. Can we go ahead and walk down to the thing?
Sure.
Now, I know you don't want to be on the camera, but yo, she hooked me up. I appreciate you. I'm gonna leave her information in the description so y'all can follow her, because she does great work, y'all.
Yes, she does.
She connected us today.
Yes, she does.
So we're gonna walk down to the river. And so I think oftentimes when people think of enslaved ships and things like that, don't forget your keys, or you're gonna leave them there?
Yes,
Yep.
I need them. I just didn't want it to jingle while you're recording.
So I would imagine that this probably would have been a path that was here. Obviously, there weren't roads.
Sure. This was a stony road.
Stony road. Okay. Stony road.
Stony road.
Okay. And do we have an account of how many individuals may have been brought up here? We know it's one of the largest.
Oh yeah, I mean there are lots of not lots. There are some documentation. My main source for slave voyage records is a site called slavevoyages.org.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you heard of it or not.
Yep.
But you can go and search by slave name, destination, origin. The thing about and that's why I told you it was 71 ships.
Yeah.
Between the early 1700s, like 17 up to the latter half of the 1700s that that came here. So yeah, there are sources in England, Bristol, England. I have found a great source for that documented the ships. Most of the ships who came here, flew the flag of the United Kingdom. Bristol. This was as the sign says, this became a customs port for England, for Bristol, for England. So the ships that came here came from England. So the enslaved people who came here came on British ships flying the British flag from Bristol, Liverpool, and even London. Now make a note right here, this building that has fallen was once a elementary school for black children.
Okay.
And I'm told this may be the first, not as close to one of the first schools for black kids in Chesterfield County.
Wow.
It was built in the 1800s, not knowing when, but what you see now is just, again, it went through many iterations and became an apartment building, and people lived in it for a while. The owner didn't keep it up, so obviously it looks nothing like nothing like what it did. I think we may have a picture of it with our school exhibit. We may have a picture of what the school looked like with our segregated.
Has anyone done research on it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
When you go to Trinity, look in the conference room.
Okay.
Along the walls, we have the schools. We researched every segregated school in Chesterfield County, and we documented that. Bernard did most of it. Okay. And they have pictures and a history of write-up of all of them.
Okay.
So, but anyhow, yeah, that was a school.
Wow. And obviously it predates Rosenwald schools. We're talking the 1800s.
Oh yeah. Did. I think we had, I want to say 7 Rosenwald schools in Chesterfield. It may have been 5, it may have been 6.
Okay. Any of them still standing?
As a Rosenwald school, no. We did get a marker for one that only has a chimney and some foundation stones.
Okay.
So we were able to get a historical marker for that one. It's called Beulah Elementary School. It's in the western part of the county.
Okay. And as I'm looking out, you all can see the water perhaps a little bit further up, which is where we're walking to. So it wasn't a far walk, obviously, for them to be able to get from the river up here to the site.
And they were walking in chains probably.
Yeah.
Probably walking in shackles.
Yeah.
After they got off the ship, after the stench of the ship and were cleaned up and walk up, and they had to be cleaned up before they put on an auction block.
For sure.
So they had to be walked up here. And that's why I said this road is the last one that shows on the architectural drawing of what this place looked like. It was a bustling town. It was this place, Bermuda Hundred, was considered once to be the capital before Richmond. But wow. I don't know why Richmond won out to be the capital, but it did. And I often think, what would it look like? I mean, surely, obviously, it would be more developed because Richmond was obviously undeveloped also. But to me, it would have made more sense. You have the confluence of the Appomattox River a little south of here, and the James River is coming down. I mean, Richmond is on the James River, but I think this would have been a great place to have a capital right here at the confluence of these two rivers. Now,
this home that we're looking at right there to our right.
Yes.
Do you know the time period?
That is the Bishop Johnson house. Yes. I think it was built. I don't want to say from memory. I want to say obviously 1800s at least, but it's been modified. It's been modified quite a bit. There are early pictures, and there were architectural drawing or architectural digs done by VCU years ago. They came and dug all around and found some graves. There's a graveyard back here behind that house.
It's not accessible though?
No, this is all private property.
Okay.
This is all private property. The customs house for ships that came in was over here on the left. Over here on the left, you can't see it now, but the architectural drawing shows a custom house up here.
Okay.
There's a place up here called Turkey Island, where the James River starts to wind. Thomas Jefferson's grandfather on his wife's side is buried on Turkey Island. Thomas Jefferson has a connection to this place. His father-in-law, James Wales, Whalen or Wales? Wales, I think. He was a slave trader.
Yeah.
His father-in-law. Thomas Jefferson inherited over 100 enslaved people from his father-in-law.
Right.
So where did those enslaved people come from? They probably came in here.
Yeah.
Came through Bermuda Hundred.
Bermuda Hundred.
This place is just so connected to. They have this Virginia 250 going on now and celebrating. Even the National 250 celebrating the independence of this country. They have a slogan in Virginia 250 says, "America made in Virginia." I say Virginia was made in Bermuda Hundred, all the way down almost to the Appomattox River. There were several docks.
Which means that there were probably, of course, more plantation homes just lined up along the river.
Yeah, plantations all over the place down here.
Okay.
Because I mean, more than slave ships came in here. I mean,
Sure.
they bought, it was commerce. They bought all kinds of goods.
Yeah. So we have a couple of
Yeah,
we got some signage here that discusses.
these are interpretive markers that certain people put up. Civil War trails, you know, Virginia history, Civil War history. They had to have some of that.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of history about Civil War here in Bermuda Hundred is written. There's a lot of history about Butler's campaign and what took place here as far as the Civil War. And John Smith had a plantation here. John Rolfe. John Rolfe had a plantation here as well as in Williamsburg. So, like I said, this place was.
There's a lot of history packed into this little stretch of road right here.
It is.
Now I see where there is industry that's right up the street.
Yes.
What is that about?
Philip
How long
Morris.
has it been here?
Well, one of them is Philip Morris, the big cigarette manufacturer. They have a plant on the right. The other one is Advantage 6. I don't know what they do.
Okay.
I don't know what they do. But they were very helpful when we did our ceremony at Advantage 6. They let us use their parking lot.
Okay.
And the county provided shuttles down to the site so people could come. So they were very helpful. But and we, as far as the marker and what should be done here, many feel like there's more than that needs to be done for this area. You know, more needs to be done to recognize and maybe a park or whatever.
Yeah.
But the people who live here, we have to respect them.
For sure.
For
And most of these
traffic.
folks are black folk.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And so whenever you're out here and, you know, maybe thinking about from an ancestral standpoint, does it make you become even more encouraged to make sure that this story is told wide and far? Or is it one of those things to where there's a little bit of selfishness because you want this to also be your special place as well? Like, what are your thoughts about that?
Well, obviously, personally, I am at peace with where I am as far as my ancestors.
Okay.
I feel pretty certain that my ancestors walked this way.
Yeah.
I would love for more people to be aware of this. I mean, it's just every time I see something about the Revolutionary War and the great celebration of the country's independence, and no mention is made of our ancestors who really built the country, and no mention is made of that. As they ask us in Chesterfield County, do we have any records of any African Americans who served on the Revolutionary War? You want to know who fought, but you don't want to know who was sold.
Right.
You know,
right.
Why you want to talk about guns and bullets all the time?
Yeah.
You know, and that's, you know, but I'm at peace now. You know,
Yeah.
I'm at peace, and my ancestors have given me a measure of peace. I just want to see where they're going to lead me next. At Rockets Landing in Richmond, we got on a pontoon boat and rode all the way down there. It took about an hour.
Wow.
Rode all the way down, and I was able to see this site from the river.
Man.
I was able to see this site from the river. That was a great trip to ride down the James River.
I bet.
And to see this site from the river.
Yeah.
But and then again, to think about our ancestors, they came up out of the hole, out of the cargo hold of the ship, and what was the first thing they saw? You know, they saw this land.
Yeah.
You know, nothing like the land they left.
Nope, nothing like it.
But
and being that, you know, Bermuda was one of the stops, and, you know, I mean, you're talking about brothers and sisters probably from various different parts of the diaspora that, of course, landed here as we look at like places like Louisiana, who has Haitian influence, has different Caribbean influences as well via the institution of enslavement. You know, it also makes you wonder, being here as well, when we talk about Bermuda and the continent of Africa, what was the makeup of their ethnicity? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, up and down. When you look at Africa, didn't have walls. They didn't have between countries. There are 54 countries in Africa.
Yeah.
So they had no walls, no checkpoints to go. So people. That's why when I do my DNA, it comes 86% sub-Saharan Africa, and out of that, 60% of that is Nigerian, and 23andMe says that most of that is Igbo. So, but when you do that, and you look at the other places, Ghana, Mali, Cote d'Ivoire, Togo, all of that is in my blood.
Yeah.
Because Africa had no walls. These people just,
Yeah.
you know. But I guess they identified them by some way, be able to say, well, you are from this area just through the DNA process, which is really fascinating.
It is.
You know, that whole genome thing is just crazy.
Yeah, it is.
How does it?
I see why people get a degree in it, because
only God knows. God really knows. But my God, man, that's woof.
No, that's real talk, man.
Yeah.
So it's amazing to be here and to have this here. You know, like I had mentioned earlier in the video, y'all, if we were just up there at the church, you wouldn't have even thought that this was down here. And you say, well, you know, it says on the marker, you know, that they were docked here and sold here and so forth and so on. And then you just take a couple of steps down this way and you have an expansive view, especially I'm sure in the fall, in the winter, you can really see the whole thing.
Right, you see the river.
But the James River is back there. It's right there.
And most people don't know this. A lot of people don't know this Virginia history. The James River, Jamestown. They know who that's named after. King James II, right?
Yep.
That's the same King James who asked for a King James Bible.
Touche.
People don't know that. You know, people. You know, that's the same king. Say, I want a Bible. I want an English Bible, and that's why it's in King James English, because that's how they spoke then.
Yeah.
You know, that's the these and thous of shouting.
Yeah.
Doth not.
So,
here we go.
So now we are actually about to walk to the river. We were granted access to do such, and this is, let me turn the camera around. But behind us is the Johnson.
Bishop Johnson.
Bishop Johnson house. All right. We were told to watch out for snakes. So
yeah, they won't be
out
here.
See the staff right here.
Yeah, they won't be out.
No,
they won't be laying out because it's too hot for them now.
Yeah, it is hot.
They'll be up under something.
So recall the first time that you came down here to the river, and it may not be this exact spot right here.
Oh
but,
yeah, no, this is
it
it.
was it? Okay.
This is the exact spot.
Okay, so this is the exact spot. So if you can flash back to then.
Yeah, well, I was there. It's really when I got to the edge and I saw the pilings, and it dawned on me what this really was. That this was dock space.
Okay.
That ships actually docked here. You know, I mean, before it's just a river. That's all you see is a river. Look like it's flowing the wrong way, but it's river really going that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was the opening here. Like I said, until I got to saw the pilings. And I think the pilings are probably gone now. The rivers.
So obviously you see the James River everywhere you drive around here, right? But coming to this specific site with the James River, I'm sure means much more than when you're just driving.
Yeah, and the fact of the matter is, when we do our history, we have to infer a lot of things because we don't have the exact documentation. That's like she was saying that somebody said it was down here and all of that. This may not be the exact site, but we can claim it as such. It may be, there's some pilings over here. Come look through the river here. See, there's some pilings.
Oh yeah, I do see them right there.
Yeah. Now that's what I saw when I came down here about, what did I say, about 8 or 9 years ago?
Yep.
They were, because see, there they are.
Yeah.
These are the pilings. We can stand in the shade now.
Yeah. Much better right here in the shade.
These are the pilings. And I said, well, this has to be where ships were moored, you know, and when they came in.
Yeah. James River is a mighty river, right?
Yes, it is.
Wow. So many events, you know, are documented right here on the James River. But of course, when we personalize it, we're going to identify our own family history connected to it as being, of course, one of the greatest.
Sure.
But for you, when you think about other families that were also involved in this, how empathetic are you to their stories as well?
Oh, very much so. It's all the same story. It's just that what do you do with the story?
Right.
Do you embrace it? You know, we know for a fact a lot of people reject our history for various reasons. You know, they don't want to hear it because maybe it's embarrassing or it just hurts too much to recall the history. My response to anybody who has that feeling about our history that it hurts too much or it's too embarrassing, I said, how do you think our ancestors felt?
Yeah.
I mean, how do you think they felt? Aren't they not worthy of you feeling a little uncomfortable?
For sure.
I mean, for that story to be told.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's my response to that. When I do my presentation, I tell people, I say, look, if you're going to African American and you do your genealogy or your history, you got to have thick skin.
You do.
You know, if your skin is thick, you'll quit.
It's true. Yeah.
You will quit very quick
Yeah.
if your skin is thin. But you got to have thick skin.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So we've spent a good time today, and I just want to kind of ask you in closing, when people look at this video, what are you hoping that they're able to take with them?
More information, first of all.
Okay.
More knowledge, more truth for sure, and hopefully some inspiration to understand that that we have to tell our own story. You know, we know that's sad so often, but because of the zeitgeist we have now and the way things are, and they aren't seen to be going in any direction that seem to be improving unless something happens. I don't know what that might be, but we need to take a hold of our own history.
This is true. Tell our own stories.
Tell our own stories, you know, not just for somebody else to know,
Right.
because they don't want to know it anyhow.
For sure.
We have to tell it for ourselves,
Yeah.
for our own ancestors, and prayerfully young people. And I'm always hopeful, because every once in a while God sends us some young people with some energy. Sends us some young people with energy and passion to tell this story.
Yeah.
And to tell the truth.
Yeah, it's true.
And that's so important. And I want them also to be able to embrace that part of who we are, particularly honoring our ancestors and respecting our elders.
Absolutely.
That would go a long way. That's fundamental to who we are as a people.
This is true.
You know.